The EU Nature Restoration Law is a groundbreaking proposal that aims to reverse the alarming decline of nature in Europe and restore its benefits for people, the climate and the planet. It is part of the EU Biodiversity Strategy, which sets ambitious goals for protecting and restoring nature by 2030 and 2050. Nature is essential for our well-being, health and economy. It provides us with clean air and water, food and medicine, pollination and pest control, recreation and tourism, and protection from natural disasters. It also helps us fight climate change by storing and absorbing carbon dioxide. However, human activities have degraded nature to an unprecedented extent, threatening its ability to support us and endangering many species. According to the latest EU State of Nature report, more than 80% of habitats in Europe are in poor condition, and 1 in 3 bee and butterfly species are in decline. The loss of nature also increases the risk of pandemics, as habitat destruction and wildlife trade create opportunities for diseases to jump from animals to humans. The EU Nature Restoration Law aims to address this crisis by setting legally binding targets to restore ecosystems across the EU's land and sea areas. These targets cover habitats and species that are already protected by existing EU laws, such as wetlands, forests, grasslands, rivers and lakes, heath and scrub, rocky habitats and dunes. They also cover pollinating insects, urban ecosystems, agricultural ecosystems and forest ecosystems. By 2030, the law requires that at least 20% of the EU's land and sea areas are restored, meaning that they are healthy, resilient and biodiverse. By 2050, all ecosystems in need of restoration should be repaired. To achieve these goals, the law obliges EU member states to take concrete actions, such as removing invasive species, restoring natural water flows, reconnecting habitats, reducing pollution and promoting sustainable management practices. The benefits of restoring nature are immense. According to the impact assessment accompanying the proposal, every €1 invested into nature restoration adds 8 to 38 euros in benefits. Restoring nature can create jobs and economic opportunities, especially in rural areas. It can also improve public health and well-being, by reducing air pollution, noise and stress. Moreover, it can enhance climate resilience and mitigation, by increasing carbon storage and reducing greenhouse gas emissions. The EU Nature Restoration Law is a historic opportunity to bring back nature for the benefit of all. It is also a way for the EU to show leadership and fulfill its international commitments under the Convention on Biological Diversity and the Paris Agreement on Climate Change. The law is now under discussion by the European Parliament and the Council of the EU, which will have to agree on its final text before it can enter into force. Nature restoration is not only essential for preserving biodiversity and fighting climate change, but also for improving our health, well-being and economy. Across Europe, there are many inspiring examples and best practices of nature restoration that show how we can bring back nature and its benefits. One of them is the Bordermeuse project in the Netherlands, which is the largest river restoration project in Europe. It aims to undo 500 years of water engineering by widening and lowering the riverbanks, expanding the floodplain and creating more natural habitats for wildlife. The project is also a win-win for people and businesses, as it reduces flood risks, provides sand and gravel for construction, and attracts tourists and recreation. Another example is the Gelders Port Restoration Project in Germany and the Netherlands, which has transformed a former industrial area into a rich wetland landscape. Over a 30-year period, beaver, otter and sturgeon have been reintroduced as part of the project, along with free-roaming horses and cattle that help maintain the open grasslands. The project has also boosted the local economy by creating jobs in nature management, tourism and education. A third example is the Rewilding Europe initiative, which works in 8 areas across the continent to restore natural processes and wildlife populations. Some of their achievements include restoring forests and grasslands in the Central Apennines in Italy, bringing back bison and other large herbivores in the southern Carpathians in Romania, and enhancing marine ecosystems in the North Sea. These are just some of the many examples of nature restoration in Europe that demonstrate how we can revive our natural heritage and secure a better future for ourselves and the planet. By supporting the EU's proposed law to restore nature, we can ensure that these efforts are scaled up and replicated across the continent.